What's up, all Wolfpack members? Tom Wolf here. Welcome to the top 10 underrated gems of all time, featuring Beowulf, and he's gonna play Happy Sack in the middle of transitions through 10 through 1.
Oh, and I'm Tom Wolf. I don't know how Beowulf breathes in this mask. Anyway, I'm gonna do my top 10 underrated gems of all time, and then I am going to do honorable mentions after number 2. Without further ado, here we go to the top 10 underrated games I think are underrated and need more recognition. Let's go! The game that I'm showing now is from the Sega Genesis, known as Mickey's Castle of Illusion. This game actually did not make my list at all, and instead the remake of this game made my list for the PS3 with the same title, Mickey's Castle of Illusion. I never played the Sega Genesis one, but it looks really cool, but I think people talk about it enough, but no one really talks about the remake of this game, and I played it for my channel, and I had some really good memories with it, that's for sure. Keep in mind, I grew up with Mickey Mouse, and I think this game does the job right. I think they had fantastic level design, I think they have great enemies, especially the final boss, and it's just a fun playthrough throughout the whole thing, and I think people should really talk about it more, and yeah, I highly recommend playing it, and I definitely give it 8 out of 10 for sure. It's pretty high on the list because maybe it's not as underrated as I think, but I don't hear enough people talking about it, and you could only own this game if you buy it from the PSN store, from as far as I know, and I highly recommend playing it. And hopefully it's still on there. If you're interested, check my playthrough of it if you're interested, and I highly recommend that you play it as well. I said that like 2 times already. Next one. Rocket Power Beach Bandits for the PS2 is a story interactive game where you play as Team Rocket the whole time through, and that consists of obviously Otto, Reggie, Twister, and Sam if you're familiar with the show. In this game, it is filled with missions, and you have to skate, rollerblade, or just explore the area in order to advance through the game, and unlock cool unlockables like new characters, new minigames, and all that good stuff. I really like the art style of this game too. It really stands out to me, and it just screams early 2000s for me. And Rocket Power was one of my favorite shows of all time, and very good controls throughout the game as well. I'm a huge Rocket Power fan, and I just picked over Mickey Mouse because I think extreme sports games like Rocket Power where you skateboard, rollerblade, it just interests me more than platforming overall. So that's why I picked Rocket Power Beach Bandits over it as the number 9 spot on my list, and I probably give this game a good 8 out of 10. There's some boring parts here and there, but overall it's a very fun, enjoyable experience with the voice actors being the same from the show, and good references, and all that good stuff. Great game, highly recommend it. If you're into extreme sports and Rocket Power, great game. It's over, don't go, let's get to know the two cool. Keeping them cuts and codes, choose to. Mind and soul and tune and lose to. Cooler than cool. this game is very underrated, and I don't know why no one talks about it. And plus, I love soccer. Let's get into the game. You know how I describe FIFA Street 2? It's basically Mario Soccer with its exaggerated physics, but they still use like human models, but it's still really fun to play. I'm very into soccer, and when I see some of the moves done in this game, I can actually do half the moves in this game, and it's really cool to execute, unlike the boring FIFA games made by EA. This is when they were awesome back in the day, when they made Madden, NFL Blitz 2000, and all those exaggerated sports titles. FIFA Street 2 is a crazy game where you do insane combos, and Waffles won't leave me alone. So without further ado, I just like this game because you can do crazy extreme stunts, and it's really impressive when you could save the replays and show your friends, and it's a very fun experience overall. I definitely give this game a 9 out of 10, and I don't know why more people don't talk about it. And plus I'm a soccer fanatic because I like playing hacky sack and soccer. It's fun. I like doing that shit. So FIFA Street 2 makes my number 8 on my list. A lot of underrated classics for PS1, I must say, and this one is Bust a Move 4 for the PS1. Let me explain the game really fast. Bust a Move 4 is a puzzle-based game where you have to shoot balls at other same-colored balls and basically get points, and the bigger the points, the more destruction you cause on the opponent's side. It's a very fun, addicting game. I think it's better than Tetris, personally. People talk about Bust a Move, but they never talk about the fourth one, and I played them all, and I don't know, I have nostalgia for Bust a Move 4 because back then, if Beowulf tells you, we used to have like these PlayStation demo discs, and Bust a Move 4 was one of them, and it just stuck with me the most nostalgia, and no one talks about the fourth one at all. I think everyone talks about 2 or 3, but not 4, and I really like the characters for 4, and I just really like Bust a Move. It's a very addicting, relaxing game. You just shoot same colored balls, and those balls, it's fun. It's a ball busting good time. I love it. And that's Bust a Move 4 for you. 4 claps. Do you know what other game I played with Puppish besides Super Mario World? Well, I used to play an awesome game known as for the PS1 right here. This game was really fun. Really fun. I definitely gotta show this off right now. And by the way, Frankie Muniz is that guy in the game. Frankie Muniz. And he does Malcolm in the Middle. I think that's really cool, by the way. Now let's get to the game. 102 Dalmatians is a game where you get to actually play as 2 puppies. The one I showed you voiced by Frankie Muniz, which is really interesting. And another from the girl puppy. That's why it's called 102 Dalmatians, because these 2 puppies are very special, I guess. I don't know. I forgot about the movie. Maybe it was good or not. Anyways, it's just a simple platformer, 3D PS1 platformer. Nothing special, but nostalgia screams in this for me. And I actually really enjoy collecting everything in this game. I think the music's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, and the puppies are cute. Everything's like a cute sort of thing, and there's some difficulty in this game and some really interesting riddles to solve. It's very fun. I think it's more nostalgia that screams for me in this one, but overall, I really like this game. I give it like a 9 out of 10. And the reason that I picked this over Bust a Move 4 is because I prefer platforms and like challenge than puzzle. It's just more interesting to me. So this is number 6 on my list. 102 Dalmatians. Definitely check it out if you get a chance. Awesome.
Oh!
Baby, you know you're the one for me. You and me and her, simultaneous you and me, and we know the rider. Simultaneous loving, baby. 2 or 3, simultaneous. Ooh, come on.
Chef's Love Shack for the PS1 is one of the most underrated party games I've ever played in my life. Don't play this one for the PS1. There's way too much load screens in this one. This one sucks. The PS1 one sucks. So, you need the one for N64 where there is no load screens. And plus, you can play all 4 players. For the PS1, you can only play 2 players. For N64, 4 players, no load screens. Very fun. So Chef's Love Shack is a game where you play as all 4 South Park characters with your friends, which is very fun, by the way, not the PS1 one, where you compete in various mini games and you get questions from the South Park show, so test your knowledge on the show. I used to be a big South Park fan, and it was very good back in the day. I thought it was, especially this game. This game really does hold up to this day, but you really do need it for the N64. I can't stress that enough. But yeah, highly recommend this game. Very fun mini games. It's not meant to be taken serious. Some of the controls are wonky, like some Mario Party games, and this game really holds up. I give it a good 9 out of 10. It really holds up. South Park Chef's Love Shack, if you've never played it, seriously try to find a copy for N64 and get 3 friends and have the time of your life. I'm not even kidding. I'm surprised how good the mini games were in this game. Number 5 on my list. Congratulations on a great party game. You know what, I'm gonna say this right now. EA was the shit back then with the games they made, such as this masterpiece right here, Def Jam Fight for New York, number 4 on my list. Obviously I did a playthrough of this if you keep me on my channel and shit. This game is an awesome fighting game. Very underrated. I don't know why they didn't make a remake of it yet. I don't really care. I own it for PS2, but I'm just saying, no one talks about this shit. No one. If you didn't already know before, Def Jam Fight for New York is a brawler type of game where you smash your enemies and hit them with weapons and, you know, bash their brains in basically with ultra high crazy moves like this.
I suggest you stay down.
Def Jam Fight for New York has great fighting mechanics, and you can reversal, and I don't know, you can just do a lot with it, and a great soundtrack. Wow. Joe Budden, Walk With Me, will live with me till the day I die. Love that song. This is a great game. Highly recommend if you're a fighting game fanatic like me. 10 out of 10, no questions asked. Number 4, it's a fighting game. I mean, come on, I love fighting games.
Now that's what you'd call premature annihilation. was poetry. And I ain't talking about Shakespeare either.
You think it's strange that you look at how you act and how you think, pretend they're not the same as you.
We are the representation of warriors, monumental, handle your business, deal with your issues. Let's make this official before all representation of warriors, monumental. You want it anyway, retarded and jolly. Before you start, I'm gonna pop in the name of my daily department. Make you wanna respect me. It's the FIWCYWURMACK, motherfucker from MOP. Get up, step to up. You need to show love to the thugs and get with them. You send them straight with them, and remember you sent them. From ground zero, we're right here, yo. From ground zero, we're right here, yo. Hey! Are you gonna stand there all day? You're gonna play ball.
NFL Street is your basic football game, but you could pound your opponents, you could jump over your opponents, you could get game breakers, and you do all this crazy shit. Basically Madden Blitz 2000, but I think it's an enhanced version of it. And plus NFL Blitz 2000 people talk about, but no one really talks about NFL Street 2. No one. The additions they added to NFL Street 2 from 1 is that you could wall jump off of it, and you could wall run as well. And also get a game breaker too. That's all they really added, but these things make a huge difference when you want to like play for fun. Like you could do some crazy ass shit, kind of like FIFA Street 2, but NFL Street 2, I think it's a better overall polished game in my opinion. NFL Street 2 has a lot of legendary football stars, and they have a lot of kick-ass music in this game, that's for sure. And very fun to play for friends, not to be taken serious. It's just a great game, and EA was amazing back then when they developed for games such as this, but now everything's like sports, like real life sports and physics, and it sucks now. Oh man, can't wait to talk about number 2, because my number 2 is actually my favorite underrated game on this list, number 2, but the first game I picked, no one, and I mean no one ever talks about, but number 2, which could be number 1, but since people do talk about it just enough, it's this game right here, Tony Hawk Underground 2. This game gets so much shit, and I have no idea why. Let me talk. Tony Hawk Underground 2, you get to create your skater, and you get to travel the globe with Bam Margera and Tony Hawk. In this game, you get to skate and do all these crazy missions and stuff, and you get to learn all these new skate moves that you can't do in previous Tony Hawk games, such as flipping when you do grabs, and you could graffiti, and you could do a rage meter, which makes your skateboarder break your board in different ways. It's very awesome. The controls for this game are freaking legendarily perfect. That's not even a word, legendarily perfect, but I'm gonna say it right now. That game is so fluid in its controls, it's perfect. I don't know why people hate it. And this is their reasons, by the way. People hate this game because A, it doesn't have the previous Tony Hawk levels, and they're not as good designs in Tony Hawk Underground 2 to the previous ones. But guess what? If you play enough of Tony Hawk Underground 2, you could unlock those old levels and play them in Tony Hawk Underground 2, because there is great levels in old Tony Hawk games. But in Underground 2, if you do certain missions and bonuses and all that stuff, you get to unlock a lot of the great levels from old Tony Hawk games. And that's really bullshit that you call this one really bad. People say that Tony Hawk Underground 2 is the 11th best one in the series. Number 11 This is easily #1. If it could have all the levels from previous Tony Hawk games, you could get off your board, you could graffiti, you could do flips, you could do reverse, you could do manuals. And people give this game shit because it promotes a jackass in a way. Seriously, that's about it. People didn't like the story, they said. I think that's bullshit, and this is the most I've talked about any other underrated game because I'm kind of pissed off about it. It makes no sense. It's a perfect game. Highly recommend it. And #1 on this list is a game that no one fucking talks about, and I don't know why. It's basically another Tony Hawk game, but it's with rollerblades. And this game, my friends, is called Aggressive Inline for the PS2. Aggressive Inline for the PS2 is just as good as Tony Hawk Underground 2. I don't know why no one talks about it. It has the same controls and mechanics of Tony Hawk Underground 2, but it even adds a little more to it. Like, you could vault over things, you could go on poles and swing across shit, you could do like amazing rollerblade moves I never thought imaginable, and it's put into this game. Great level designs, and a very small soundtrack, but very effective at the same time. There's only 13 songs in the game, but seriously, I think it gets the job done, so I wish there was more. But this game should be talked about. This game's controls is just as good as Tony Hawk Underground 2. I don't get why no one talks about these two games, but maybe I'm biased towards these skateboard sort of games, but they're great. I don't know what's wrong with it. They have great music, great level design, great controls, awesome characters. You get to create your own characters. I don't get why people don't talk about these games, but whatever. They just don't get the recognition I think they deserve. So Aggressive Inline's easily #1 because no one in hell talks about this game. No one, and it's a shame because this is a diamond in the rough, as Fox McCloud says. I swear, Aggressive Inline is a diamond in the rough, as Fox McCloud would say. Yeah. Like, I don't get it. It's a diamond in the rough, man. He agrees. So anyways, that's my list. Top 10 underrated games of all time. I hope you enjoyed. And, you know, it's all nostalgia and personal preference and all that stuff. But in case you were wondering, that's easily my top 10 underrated games of all time. Hope you enjoyed the honorable mentions. And a little update before we get to my bloopers and shit, if you're curious in that, because I have a lot in this video. I might be playing Majora's Mask for my channel, but only if you want me to, because that game's really fucking good. That's gonna make my top 20 games of all time easily. That game's great. I'm surprised how good that game was. And also, I will be making a movie, hopefully. I'm like 50-50. I'm deciding. I'm excited. I want to make it better than the Happy Bear for sure, but regardless, I like the Happy Bear production. It was great. I'm glad he bashed his brains in. Anyways, say classy noise, eat your pizza. Thanks for the support, Fox McCloud. Have a good night and morning and all that good shit. And I hope Beowulf makes the top 10 underrated games of all time, because he's a great friend and he knows some great games. And I know he does. He gives new games a chance, and I give him respect for that. Anyways, here's some bloopers if you're curious. Let's go. Rocket Powered Beach Bandits for the PS2 is a story interactive game where you could skateboard, rollerblade, and walk to victory. Bust a Move is a series where it's puzzle based, where you have to hit the same colored balls.
This is hard.